guys, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to show you how I make what I call my Amaretti pumpkin pie. It is easy, it's delicious, it's really not any harder than making regular pumpkin pie. In fact, I think it might actually be easier because we're doing like a graham cracker cookie crust versus having to roll out and make actual pastry, which some people can be intimidated by. Let me run you through the list of ingredients. It's not very big, but they're all the right ones, and this has been named the best pumpkin pie around here. Everyone loves it. They think it's better than traditional. It's got a little more character, a little more texture. So, hey, I had to share it with you. Let me run you through the list of ingredients. For the base, you're going to need some Amaretti cookies. Make sure you buy the hard, crunchy Amaretti cookies, not the soft ones. You need some slivered or chopped almonds, whichever you prefer. I've got crushed graham crackers, a little bit of sugar, melted butter. Then for the filling, you need pure pumpkin puree. You need some heavy cream and evaporated milk, eggs, brown sugar, and granulated sugar, and pumpkin pie spice. That's it. Now, I am going to do a little Amaretto Mascarpone Cream to serve this with because I think it just elevates things a little bit. And because I'm not adding actual Amaretto in the filling because I want you to be able to share with kids, I'm going to add it in the Mascarpone Cream so that it's a special treat for the adults. But if you want to add a little splash of Amaretto to the filling, by all means, go for it, and it is to die for. But I want to please everyone, so I'm going to keep it for the topping. In my food processor, I'm going to make pretty much everything in here. I'm going to start with the base. I'm going to add my Amaretti cookies and my almonds. Now, I also have my oven preheated to 350. I've got my oven preheated to 350. I've got a 9-inch pie plate just ready and sprayed with a little nonstick spray, so it's good to go. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to just whiz this up until the Amaretti and until the almonds are pulverized. That looks perfect. Now I'm going to add the graham crackers and the melted butter all at once. I'm just going to whiz this up until the dough, well, the base, the cookie comes together basically. I'll show you what that looks like in just a couple of seconds. That's it. Yep, it's nice and damp. You're looking for the texture of almost like wet sand, but because there's almonds in there, it's going to be a bit more coarse, and I love it. Now, you notice I didn't toast my almonds, and that's because it's going to bake this for, you know, a good amount of time, that it's going to develop that beautiful toasted almond flavor over time into the oven. But if I weren't baking this, then I would definitely toast my almonds first just to bring out their nuttiness, if you will. Just get it all out of there, and I'm going to make my filling in here because why not? So just put that back on. And then all you do to the base, you kind of just move it around, and then just using your fingers, you just press this all into place and just trying to make it as even as possible. You don't want some parts that's really thick and then some parts where it's thin. So just take your time, go around, and just press the cookie in the pie plate. That is perfect. What I'm going to do now is pop it into my oven at 350 for 8 to 10 minutes or so, or until it just takes us to make the filling, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. I'm just kind of toasting it up now, and then it's all going to go back in. But just a really quick tip, whenever you're making pies or anything like that, just place them on a baking sheet because it makes it a lot easier to get them in and out of the oven. Because sometimes, like, I mess up the handles, or if I were to grab from the handles, and inevitably I put my fingers in there and mess up the crust. So just put it on top of a baking sheet. It just makes life a lot easier. All right, let's make the filling, which is really, really easy. Everything goes in your food processor. You don't have to use a food processor. You by all means can do this, you know, in a bowl with a whisk, but you know, I already got this dirty. Might as well finish it off. Evaporated milk, a little bit of heavy cream, I like richness, a couple of eggs. And then I like to use a mixture of granulated sugar and brown sugar. It's been what I've used now for pumpkin pie for a long, long time. It just gives you a much richer pie, and it is to die for. So all of that goes in, lid on, whiz it up until it's smooth, and that's pretty much it. Perfect. Just gonna grab my spatula, just run it around the sides just once, and now you just pour this into your partially baked crust. Oh, it's going to be so fantastic. You cannot even imagine. Now, this just needs about 45 minutes or so at 350. And then you want to let it cool to room temperature before popping it into the fridge for several hours until it's cooled and set. Then I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll make our mascarpone cream, and then we serve it up. That's it. All right, my pie baked for about 15 minutes. I let it come to room temperature before popping it in the fridge to set and cool completely. Now I'm gonna work on the mascarpone topping. What I've got here is some heavy cream. I'm just gonna whip this to stiff peaks, and then we'll move on to the mascarpone with the sugar, with the amaretto, and it is amazing. That looks great. I meant to say soft peaks, not stiff peaks, but it's okay. All right, so now to this mixture, mascarpone, I've got sugar. I'm gonna add a little bit of amaretto. Not too much because amaretto is quite strong, but you can, hey, always add more if you want. Mix this until it's really well incorporated, until you feel like the sugar has dissolved. You know, it's not as coarse, so it could take a couple of minutes. All right, lovely. Give everything a good scrape. Now what I'm gonna do is just to loosen it up a bit, I'm gonna add a little bit of this cream. I would say maybe a quarter of it. And then just mix it with the whisk just to loosen it up, and then I'll fold in the rest. That is perfect. So when you serve it, you cut a nice slice. Don't worry if the crumble on the back starts to fall off a little bit. That's what happens with a cookie crumble. And then a really lovely, healthy dollop of this magnificent beauty. And look at that. That's like the perfect ratio. A full spoonful of whipped cream and some pumpkin pie. Mmm. It's so good. It's so rich. The crunch from the nutty crust is perfection. The subtle amaretto comes through. It's not too much. It doesn't compete with the classic flavors of the pumpkin. It's just a really cool twist on a classic pumpkin pie, and I think your guests will definitely enjoy this little bit of a variation on the classic. Go to laurinthekitchen.com to get the written recipe. Hope you enjoy spending time with me. Here's a bite for you. I'll see you next time.